Hi guys, it's Dr. Somji. Welcome back to the channel. Today's a really exciting day because yes, I spend my time critiquing the brands like you tell me to. One of those brands that's liked by all doctors worldwide that deal with skin is CeraVe. What are ceramides? We need to actually get back down to that because that's what CeraVe is designed on. I mean, there's a play on words, CeraVe. So ceramides actually make up 50% of the skin. So it's that outer lipid layer, so the outer protective layer that we have on our skin. It prevents water loss coming out and it prevents the skin becoming dry. If the skin becomes dry, sometimes your oil glands become overactive, pores open out, you get debris building in that area. That's where you get things like acne. If you're persistently dry, like sometimes I have around the elbows and things, you're prone to things like kind of psoriasis and eczema. So repairing that skin barrier and maintaining that skin barrier is super important. So basically, if you want to look at it pretty simply, brands like CeraVe that focus on those ceramides sort out probably about 50% of the skin. So they're gonna have, like, they're the building blocks, they're the maintenance building blocks that you can then use different actives, maybe with other products, to really have a really good skin. So 9 ceramides, we're not gonna go through all of them, you can see on the list below, but what CeraVe has is 3, what they feel are essential ceramides. So the first ceramide that they have is called NP, it's normally called 3, representative of like 22% of the bulk ceramides within your skin. So that's really good that they've got that because, you know, hey, that's the blockbuster. So if you're gonna put ceramides in your product, you're gonna put ceramide 3 or NP within it. Ceramide AP is the other one, represent for about 8.8% of the ceramide layers, and that's included within CeraVe, as well as ceramide EOP, which is relatively new, 1.1%, and it's great for that kind of lipid layer and fatty acids. So those are the 3 things. 3 ceramides that are contained essentially within all the products. I actually use CeraVe, my wife's used CeraVe in a few different instances. So I'm going to talk to you about when I use them. I'm prone to eczema, psoriasis, all of those conditions that essentially have an impaired skin barrier. Not so much on my face, but also on the body too. And also in the UK, we've got hard water, so our skin tends to be a lot drier, even though we have got like water softeners. So, you know, we're always suffering with dry skin, and it's always rains and it's always cold here. So, you know, we've got no choice but to use CeraVe in a lot of instances. The moisturizing lotion. I really like this product. It's in a nice pump which protects the ceramides, which is fantastic. So there's the basics right. It says over here, you know, it's fragrance free. It's got 3 essential ceramides and hyaluronic acid. So, you know, what you're basically doing is delivering a molecule such as hyaluronic acid into the skin and then locking it with those ceramides over the top. So it stops that transepidermal water loss. If we look at some of the ingredients, let's have a look. You've got kind of aqua, glycerin, capric triglyceride. All of these things are nice emollients just to build that layer. You've got dimethicone in here. Now look, dimethicone is essentially silicone, and you know, there's 2 sides to the fence with dimethicone. Look, people ask me, is dimethicone harmful to the skin? And I say no. There's many studies that show that it's non-comedogenic, it's not harmful to the skin, it helps products kind of essentially smear quite nicely over the skin, and it provides a nice skin barrier. But you know, that's one of the top ingredients in CeraVe, and that's what's actually helping your skin barrier rather than a lot of the ceramides. And you know, it's not a bad thing, but the only thing that you've got with silicone is that if you layer these products and you're layering silicone upon silicone upon silicone, and then you're not washing it off very well, then you can get buildup of debris and bacteria, and you can actually get retentional acne. So when you're using these products, you need to have a really good cleanser, or you're double cleansing, and then you won't get spots. So, you know, that's just one top tip from me. The other thing with silicones, why I don't put silicones in my own skincare when I'm formulating it, is, hey, you know what? It's bad for the environment. So when that goes down the sink, you know, you got to think what's happening to the oceans, and you know, we've got to be really responsible and start thinking about this seriously. So, you know, I like a good thing of this. I tend to put it actually in the mornings, just around my elbows and stuff. I mean, I like it. It comes on really nicely. It's easy to absorb. You've got those ceramides, so your arms and elbows don't get so dry throughout the day. This is something that's really nice. Sometimes I moisturize around the neck. As soon as I come out of the shower, this is something that I use, especially if I've had a hot shower and I just want to lock in the moisture. That perfect blend of ceramides, hyaluronic acid, and skin softeners is really, really nice. So the next product, which is actually on my kind of list that's sitting outside my shower, is the SA Smoothing Cream. I really like it. I like the name as well because it's a salicylic acid based smoothing cream for like dry, rough and bumpy skin. So look, I tend to get this around this area, and it's a nice thing because actually on people's arms, they get that a lot. Keratosis pilaris, you want something that there's little bumpy kind of chicken type look of skin, like bumpy little bumps that you see. Salicylic acid washes in the shower, and then using something like the salicylic acid smoothing cream is going to be really, really useful. And if we look at the ingredients, we can see what the actives are. So look, you've got the urea, you've got glycerol stearate, you've got cetearyl alcohol. A lot of people talk about cetearyl alcohol and say, that's bad. Actually, you speak to most experienced people that actually formulate products. There's nothing bad about cetearyl alcohol. I know it says alcohol and they have to declare that on the pack, but it's not harmful to the skin. So don't let that put you off. Look, high up is niacinamide, which is fantastic for all sorts of things. But main thing is the skin barrier, because you've got an acid here. If you remember one of our previous videos looking at the drunk elephant, AHA, BHA, we know that salicylic acid is quite drying. And the fact that you've got niacinamide in this product quite high up is fantastic. You also got things like shea butter, which again is great for locking in the moisture. Dimethicone, silicone makes an appearance. We know, what we feel about silicones. And then, kind of halfway down the list, you've got those 3 key ceramides that we talked about. And underneath that, then you've got the salicylic acid, which is obviously causing that nice exfoliation. A little bit lower down, you've got a few different acids like citric acid and lactic acid. And that's quite nice. And so, it's a nice all-round product. I particularly like kind of recommending it for patients with keratosis pilaris when they come to the clinic. I say maybe get some laser hair removal, use some salicylic acid washes, and then put a SA smoothing cream over it. And as you know, they've got things in a little bit higher different concentrations. And this is what I do. I just do this and I'm good to go. And it's actually very, very nice. Easily absorbed into those little bits over there and gives me that nice exfoliation. So going on this little thing, the next product that I really like is the renewing foot cream. And that is something that, is quite different because people don't think about the feet. We think about the hands, we think about hand cream, but you never really think about foot cream. And actually the feet are under much more pressure. When it's standing all day, you get a lot of dry skin. And actually, come on, when the summer's out, you want to get your feet out. So the foot cream's got a higher concentration of salicylic acid in there, and you've got to be a little bit careful. So you put it on. My feeling is that it goes on quite nicely onto the skin. You can then put even a plastic sock on afterwards when you're sleeping, and that can really kind of exfoliate the skin, get rid of that dry skin look, and also make it look a lot more smoother as well. You want to be really careful about using this product on other areas. So I see things on social media, people using it on the face. I don't think it's a good idea. I think there's definitely something that you can use on keratosis pilaris, but you have to be really careful because you can end up getting quite a lot of sensitivity. And don't forget, the product is formulated for the feet. So I think, when you've got things at such a good price point, you've got the SA smoothing cream for the body, stick to this, stick to using a foot cream on the feet, then you'll get benefit from it. So the next product which I really like that I pick up in the States whenever I'm there is the CeraVe Healing Ointment. So essentially it's like an occlusive dressing that you can apply to the skin when you want that little bit of repair. It can be put on kind of dry, cracked areas. So again, we talked about kind of putting things on the feet or the hand. If you've got dry, cracked skin, especially if you're someone like me that you wash your hands like 50, 60 times a day when we're seeing patients in clinic, it's really, really useful for those rough kind of areas. If you're looking at the ingredients, it's formulated with petrolatum, which is basically very similar to things like petroleum jellies, what you find in like Vaseline, Aquaphor, those sort of things. There's also the addition of hyaluronic acid as well as ceramides. So a true kind of like CeraVe formulation. So there's nothing in the ingredient list that I can see that is comedogenic. So it's good for all skin types. We know it's fragrance free. We know it's lanolin free. So it's not going to irritate anyone. So if you've got like kind of minor cut, grays, all those sort of things, then you can actually use this quite nicely on there. So, I would say that, kind of things, even this baby, they have a baby healing ointment as well, which is actually pretty cool because, that's the first thing I thought, when you get nappy rash, it's dry, cracked skin, you want to treat that with kind of like essential ceramides, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and actually they have a formulation for that too in terms of a baby version. But like if you stick to the healing ointment, I personally like it. So I actually get patients that come and visit me for like laser resurfacing, especially from the States. they use that afterwards as almost like an occlusive dressing, because when you've just kind of peeled the skin or you've had a chemical peel, you've taken away that surface layer, the epidermis and the lipid layer, because that's part of chemical peeling. And you want to put something on that's exactly like that. So you add those 3 ceramides and then you add a little kind of almost dressing over the top with a petrolatum jelly and hyaluronic acid, which keeps the moisture within the skin. So you're limiting evaporation, you're drawing moisture from inside your own body, and you're also starting with the building blocks of skin by putting in those ceramides. So post like resurfacing, even things like post like sunburn, which you should never do to your skin, if you put this healing ointment on, it's gonna help that process. So, you know, one of the things you're gonna have a little link to my slugging video, which is a top TikTok trend. Look, you can slug with this ointment. So, and this is one of my top tips that you can do. So we talked about the SA smoothing cream. In fact, my SA smoothing cleanser is actually still in my shower. So a lot of the products, I brought most of my CeraVe stuff, but I brought the soothing cream, but then I kind of forgot the one in the shower. But this is what I pair. So for my like little keratosis pilaris and dry skin that I get, in the shower, I use that over that area. It's almost like a final like wash, a buff of my skin just to get rid of that dead skin. I'm gonna be enriching it with ceramides afterwards, which is fantastic. If I feel especially dry, then I put the smoothing cream on, then I might put the moisturizing lotion on as well, or the moisturizing cream in a tub. It's also really nice too. But the SA smoothing cleanser is pretty cool. It's got no fragrance in there, no essential oils, no alcohol. The only thing that I would say with this is I've found that, you know, if you've got somebody that has hormonal, so female adult hormonal acne, for some reason the SA smoothing cleanser doesn't really work so well because someone with hormonal acne doesn't necessarily really want to dry out their skin. And I find that the CeraVe SA smoothing cleanser can sometimes be a little bit dry for people with kind of, let's say, combination skin types. And that's what you get with hormonal acne. So you want to be a little bit careful about using it on the face, in my opinion. You know, I like it on the body because the body, you've got a thicker barrier, you've got a thicker epidermis on the body, you've got better, it responds better to kind of like induction of ceramides. It thickens up, you get less evaporation generally. But on the face, if you've got that sort of like mixed skin type, I'd exercise caution, because I do get patients coming back saying, oh, you know, my acne seems to have got worse since I've used kind of CeraVe on CeraVe. And we've talked about, you know, the presence of silicone in there. And if you're like building those products and you're not necessarily double cleansing, then you're gonna end up with some problems. So just a word of caution. It's nothing like terribly negative. I think is at a fantastic price point is the Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Serum. And the reason why I like this is because for the price, you're getting quite a bit. You're getting the hyaluronic acid, you're getting the 3 essential ceramides, you're also getting vitamin B5 in this as well. And if we look at the inky, we can see, yes, you've got dimethicone, which is higher up. It makes the product spread nicely. We've talked about silicone enough. Like, you know, I'm not one of those people that sit on YouTube saying silicone bad. I think silicone, it's proven to be safe, but just because of the impact on the environment and making sure that if you're using silicone on silicone on silicone, then you're gonna get kind of debris. So I think, you know, we've talked about that enough. You got sodium hyaluronate, which is fantastic, panthenol, which is quite high up, and then you got your 3 ceramides as well, which is great. You got a kind of mild like citric acid lower down as well, so it just helps remove any dead skin at the same time. So it's a nice formulation, and you know, not even like trying it, I know that it's going to be pretty cool. It'll spread nicely. Look, this is a nice texture. Doesn't need any thickening agents in the sodium hyaluronate. Smells like CeraVe, basically. Easily absorbed within the skin. It's a nice winner of a product. I mean, you compare that to the Drunk Elephant, like the B5 formulation. The B5 sits so low down in the ingredient list, it's not even worth it. But for something like this, you know, I would go out and buy this. In fact, actually, I have gone out and buy it, so I tell you to go and buy it. If you want something, if you haven't got any issues with your skin and you just want to have hyaluronic acid, and then combined with this, then you can use like powerful high strength vitamin C serums from other brands. You can combine it with your retinols. You can sandwich it with the retinol sandwich method that I've talked about in my videos. This is a nice versatile product that's like kind of, you know, can stick things together, put it in your skin routine. So look, this is a product that I like talking about because I'm holding the wrong product. This is a product I like talking about because it's the foaming cleanser. So we talked about the formulation. Look, we want to be putting ceramides into the skin, but you don't want to overload it, because say if you cleanse with this, then you're going to put the SA smoothing, then you're going to put hyaluronic, then you're going to put it, you're putting ceramide upon hyaluronic acid, you're putting some silicone on silicone on silicone on silicone. Yeah, you are, even though silicone is proven not to clog pores, if you're gonna be layering like that, then you are gonna block stuff. So when you're gonna be cleaning at night, you don't want any residue before you put something else on. So you need to use, in my opinion, this foaming cleanser first, because that melts the makeup. It's got a nice formulation, as you can see. It's got the kind of standard like glycerin, all the nice things that kind of restore the skin barrier, but still kind of melt. If you wear makeup, it melts makeup, takes away all that debris, can take away the silicone. And then after this, maybe you want to use another cleanser, so a double cleanse. And this is how you get the most from CeraVe, is by double cleansing. Otherwise, you can get that side effects of that retention or acne, which we really don't want. But the foaming cleanser, like I said, normal to oily skin, I would say even people with dry skin should use this. So use this and then use another cleanser, and I think you should be absolutely fine. So the next exciting one is the CeraVe Skin Renewing Retinol Serum. So we all know retinol is a buzzword. I've done probably the most in-depth retinol video that you can see on the link. You know, if you want a cup of tea or whatever you want to drink at night, and you just you have a lot of time and you want to learn about retinols, just click on that link. But look, retinol is buzzword. So CeraVe, big brand, needs to do a retinol, and definitely they need to do it properly too. And if you look at the ingredients list, it's actually quite nice. You've got all the standard things. You've got the glycerin, you've got the stearate, you've got the ceramide sitting there. Yes, okay, you've got the dimethicone that's sitting within there, and the dimethicone cross polymer. These are all things that are gonna help the product spread nicely and help with the skin barrier. You've also got some root extract, as well as their encapsulated retinol. The encapsulated retinol is really important because it goes through the epidermis, and therefore you're going to get less skin irritation with this. So if you've used retinols in the past, you could probably use this retinol even once every day or once every alternate day, and then work it up without getting that irritation. And that's, you know, don't forget, your ceramides are going to reduce irritation as well. So everything within this product is there to really calm things down. We've also got some vitamin E in there too, as well as hyaluronic acid and the shea butter, which is fantastic. The other thing that is there is that there's actually niacinamide there. And you know, you guys know how I love niacinamide. It's a great product for all sorts of things, reducing redness, reducing pigmentation, reducing acne, well, absolutely everything. So if you're gonna put it in a product, fantastic. They've got their encapsulated ceramide MVE technology, which they always talk about, and you know, it's kind of behind most of their success, which is fantastic. So, you know, using this retinol, when I've tested it on the back of my hand, I think it's fantastic. It's something that can really, really kind of help. Just looking at the CeraVe website, it talks about dimethicone and the use of it, because you know, it's a real thing that people talk about and people want to know what it does. And as we talked about, it's silicone. It helps with skin softness, helps with the coverage without making things heavy. This is what makes a product feel quite nice. And they're really kind of like justifying their use of it. And you know, I will always say, you know, it's not bad for the skin. It definitely is in so many other skin products, but I just think, you know, if you're gonna be building it up, limiting the amount of dimethicone in your layered skincare is gonna be important. And also, we talked about the impact on the environment too. So look, we're not saying it's bad that the dimethicone's in there, definitely not. But I just would, you know, if you care about the world, maybe don't use it so much. And if you're layering a lot of products, you just gotta limit the amount that you're using, because you're gonna gather debris, and especially if you're kind of like acne prone, then you really wanna kind of limit that. So the next one, which I love, and I get like 2 bars of this whenever I go to talk in the States, is the hydrating cleansing bar. And like I said, look, in the UK, like our water is so hard, and that means our skin gets really dry. So immediately after I come out of the shower, I'm like, whoa, like my skin's falling off. And you know, I use all of these things, definitely. But if I'm cleansing with something that is not moisturizing me at the same time. It's not great. So I use a cleansing bar in a bath, and it is literally, I literally put it on and I let it infuse in my skin, and then I wash it off. I then use my salicylic acid washes in areas where I know I've got a little bit more dry skin, and then I replenish the moisture. So, the hydrating cleansing bar, if you're ever in the States, because you can't get it so much in the UK, if you're ever in the States, fantastic product. It's got my approval, and yeah, I think everyone in the UK needs that. So next product, which, I don't really use. So I don't know why I'm saying it's one of my favorites, but look, the reason why I don't use it, but everyone I know uses it, because I know that cream cleansers, people like that, and they like that feeling of it. I like like a gel-based cleanser, but I'm coming round, and this product made me come round a little bit more. And sometimes when my skin is a little bit more sensitive, if I've had resurfacing treatments, I do use this. I don't use it on a daily basis, but I think it could be easily combined with the foaming cleanser as like a double cleanse. And I would say that if you're gonna buy one, you need to buy the other if you're sticking to CeraVe as a brand. Personally, yes, I use the foaming cleanser, and then sometimes I use another cleanser from other brands that I like a melting, like butter cleanser sometimes. But yes, the hydrating cleanser will restore that skin barrier, making sure that you don't lose water and that you don't get the outer layer of the skin dehydrated, because that can cause irritation, acne, as we all say, and we keep saying the same thing. You don't want to get into the cycle of retentional acne, which is terrible. So that's it. It's a brand that really has broken boundaries, mainly because what they've done is make sure that they do everything right, and also they justify what they do too. Nothing within these products that's really going to change your skin from being like a 5 out of 10 up to like a 10, or like an 8 out of 10 to a 10. So, it's something that will maintain things. If you're in a restorative, reparative protocol, then CeraVe is fantastic. Like I said, you can use it as a building block, and then you can add major actives within it, and it can be combined with other brands quite nicely. And we're going to make some more videos on that. So if you have any questions about any of the products, just let me know. If you think I've missed any products or you feel like are really nice, let me know which products you'd like. Put it in the comments below as well, and that can give me fuel for my fires for new videos as well. Don't forget to click the link to subscribe, and also like it if you found this very useful today. Take care.